Hey guys, it's Maymay and look what we are making in this video. I love this so much. This is a very long necklace. See this long chain? And this is several things. Some from Gary's store, some from my stash. I'm in love with this. Let me show you what this is. This is one of the wooden spools that Gary sells in his store and he sent me in my design team package. These are some buttons from my stash. This I purchased at Hobby Lobby. Then there's a little weenie dog charm and a little pearl, because I love pearls, on there. And I have turned it into this necklace. I'm going to lay it down so you can kind of see it. Now, this is not my original idea. I got these spools and kind of went crazy. Or, what do you call them? I call them spools. And I went crazy and went on Pinterest and started looking and found that people were making these. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is unlimited ideas. They're turning them into ornaments. They're making them as, you name it. They are turning these into everything. So go click Pinterest and put in spool crafts. You will be so surprised what you find out. But tonight I'm going to show you this one and make two others to let you see how they work, because they're so easy and quick to make. I love it. This one has some this is 6x6 paper wrapped around the center. I'll show you all how we did it, but that's what we're going to do, so let's get started. Now the first thing I want to talk about are these spools. These are, let me measure them for you because I don't even know, I haven't done actual measuring of them. This dude is a tiny bit over an inch long, just barely over an inch long. And then this center portion right here where I'm putting paper or I'm decorating that is like 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so you have that much space to decorate. For this necklace I'm fixing to make now that I want to show you, I'm going to use this cute camera charm. Now this is not from Gary's store. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, and this is how we can mix our stash with our new things. So here's the spool. That's going to hang there, and I'm also going to cover the center of this spool. Let me show you some options. Now this video is going to have a lot of options and tips for using these because you have so many different ways that you can. So I want to show you. The first thing I want to show you is this. This is washi tape. And check this out if I can find the end of it. That's always the hard part for me. All of you washi lovers, this is so cool. Now I don't know how wide this washi is. Let's measure it. It is exactly 5/8 of an inch. So that's awesome. Here's what you do. You just place your washi in the center of your spool and stick that down and wrap it around it, and when you do that, your spool is decorated with your washi tape. Isn't that cute as it can be? So you can use your washi on here for jewelry, and then all you washi lovers will have it around your neck. But here's what I'm going to do. This is a piece of 6x6 paper, or actually it came from a piece of 6x6 paper. And the reason I chose the 6x6 paper is I think that the patterns are smaller and you get a bigger bang for your buck. If you try to use some 12x12 or even 8.5x11, sometimes the patterns are so big that you don't really get a good look at it here on your necklace. So here we go. First thing you want to do is cut your paper or use your washi, whatever you're going to put on there to decorate. And then take a bone folder and really curl the stuff. I mean really, really, really curl it. Don't give yourself a paper cut. Just get it so that it is really loose and really pliable. See how I've got that going? Because you want this to curl around here super easy and not fight against you. Alright, so I've got it ready to go, and believe it or not, I'm going to use art glitter glue. Is that the thing I use for everything? I'm just going to take some and I'm going to load up this center section just like this and put this guy on. I'm telling y'all, I'm in love. I could make these all day long. And this is one of those crafts. It was funny because when I got those spools, I literally thought, what in the world am I going to do with those? Because the only thing I thought of was what Gareth had already done, and that was make those little ornaments, which are so cute. And he made ornaments out of these on his channel. And I thought, well, that was super cute, but now what in the world will I do? So I went to my trusty Pinterest, right? When you don't know, you Pinterest. Or Google. I also find stuff by just Googling it. Alright, so now I've got this stuck around. I'm going to rub that glue down a little bit where I've got some extra. I use probably more glue than I normally do, normally with the art glitter glue, because I really want this to stick, because I'm going to be wearing it. Now I want to tell you too, you can coat these, like if you like to coat your jewelry where you use any kind of paper products on it, you can certainly do that with like a shiny Mod Podge, or with something like triple thick or something like that. I'm not, because I like the matte finish, because it shows off the fact that these little fleur-de-lis on here are the gold foil. So I'm not going to coat this. I'm just going to glue this on. Finish up this last little strip. It's going to be tough for you guys to see with my hands all in the way, but I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. So now where that paper wraps in the back, that becomes the back of it. And so this is what you end up with. You can see the gold foil really well, can't you? So there's our spool ready to go. And also don't forget, you can paint your spools and all that good stuff ahead of time. Now this is where it's going to get a little more hairy, okay? I'm using 2 buttons, and these 2 buttons actually match. I'm using just the same 2 buttons. You really don't even have to use 2, you can use 1, but I like the look of 2. Like for example, on the one I showed you earlier, you can see here that this is a small button and a larger button. I just think they look nice on there. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to hang our camera charm. So we want to go ahead and get enough of our wire. Now this is like an 18 gauge jewelry wire, and you can also use something like this. I did use this on that last one. This is from Beadalon, and it is copper wire, and it is 20 gauge. Okay, so you can use something like that as well. I'm going to cut a piece off of here. A fairly long piece. You want to have more than enough. I know that hurts a lot of us to have more than enough because it gives us the waste, but it's better to have more than enough than not enough. All right, now I'm going to just kind of sort of find the middle. Sort of, just by wiggling it. And I'm not putting a crease in the bottom. I don't want to crease this wire. I just want to kind of find the middle. And then I'm going to take, this is, I don't know what these are called. These pliers have round pieces on them so that you don't get a bend, you get a curve. I'm going to put these into the end down here and grab a hold of it. That's a southern term. And just kind of pull. And give myself, and I'll show you when I move away, and give myself a tighter curve. That's where our charm is going to hang, okay? So I'm going to kind of keep these separated. I'm not twisting these on themselves. We want to keep those kind of open, kind of like rabbit ears, okay? And now let's get our charm out. Notice I'm using silver. If I had gold, I would use it. For some reason, I did not pick any up. I got copper, and I already had the silver in my stash. So if I had gold, I would certainly use it, but I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker for me. So I'm going to take this little camera and I'm just going to feed it on to the wire. I love this camera. It is so cute. Now that I've got it on the wire, I'm going to grab the small button, okay? And I'm going to put this wire through both holes of that button. One wire through one side, and I'll bring it up where you can see it. And one wire through another. All right. So you see how I've got the wires through each hole. Let me see if I can make that where you can see it. There we go. The wires are through each hole. And then I'm just going to take this button and push it down really snug. Okay? Because that's going to be what's going to keep our charm from going back up through the hole in our spool. So that's the first one. Now I like to put the second one on because I think it just looks good. And the ones I saw on Pinterest look like that. So I was like, I'm just going to copy them. Because I think they look great. So feed your wire in. Push that down. And you still have that little charm hanging. And you have your little buttons here. Okay? Now what you can do at this point is you can twist this just a little bit to keep it in place. Just do a little twist. It doesn't have to be extremely tight. I just kind of use the button to help me make a little twist. And then I'm going to pull this up. So this is what it looks like. I have a twist right here. Okay? Now I'm going to take this spool that I got ready. Make sure your paper is in the right direction. You want it to be facing up. And I'm going to feed it through both holes. Or feed the wire through the holes of the spool, both pieces, and then push it down. So you see how we're getting the build? It's kind of like a little, I don't know, like a tower. It's just building up. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite here. We're going to put the big button on first, just like we did at the bottom though. Going to slide these 2 wires through the 2 holes, okay? And then we're going to take the small one and put it on, just like we did at the bottom. Nothing new here. Alright, so this is what we've got. We've got a camera, 2 purple buttons, we've got our center, and then our 2 purple buttons again. Now you're going to need these round pliers again. What you want to do at this point is make sure you find the front of your necklace. The front is going to be where your camera hangs correctly, okay? With it at the front, take your pliers and just place it in and hold that wire. You see what I've done there? I'm going to turn it to all different directions so you can see it. Okay, then I want you to take these wires and turn them to a 90-degree angle. Even though they're not together, you see they've got that little gap, that's okay, 90-degree angle. Then take your round pliers, pull them out, and place them back in, kind of facing up, so you have one of these mandrels facing up, and pull these wires over the top. We're kind of making like an S shape, sort of, so you can kind of see what that shape looks like. Now I'm going to put these back into the top, right as far in as they'll go, and then I'm going to take these free pieces here, holding that really firm at the top. I'm going to wrap these around as snugly as I can. Does not have to be perfect, and the reason is we're going to cover them up anyway. Get them as snug as you can get them, like so. I might have to doctor this one a little bit because I got a little messy, but that's okay. That's what your pliers are for. Just get in there and mess around with that circle. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this excess off. Now that I've got that off, I'm going to use these pliers and sit that down a little bit more. Just hide that loose wire. Honestly, this is not going to show. We're going to put a decorative piece up here because I think it looks so pretty to have another piece. So it's not going to show, and this is not going to touch anyone, but you don't want those sharp pieces poking up. Now if you have some flush cut pliers, you can get rid of that totally. Alright, so you can see now that we have our camera at the bottom and we have our little loop at the top. Okay, so now we have our camera and our loop. Make sure that your camera is laying in such a way that when it's hanging, it'll be in the right direction, or your pendant, and that your loop is going in the opposite direction so the chain can go through it, okay? If your loop goes like this and your camera's in the wrong direction, it's not gonna lay straight when you wear it. So make sure your loop goes front to back, not side to side. Make sense? All right, now it is time to put a chain on it. And I'm going to use this gold chain. This is from Gary's store as well. And I just like this gold one. Although I'm using a silver bail here, and I'm not worried about that, I'm going to use this gold chain because I have gold on my camera. Now that just locks in. You've seen these before. They're like those little dog tag necklaces, and it just locks into place, and then it just goes over your head. So here's the beginning of our necklace. I love it. Okay, now let's do some more doctoring. Now on this necklace, I'm going to use some baker's twine, and I have more than I'm going to need. But the reason I do is because I'm doubling it, and I'm going to do it another time, so I'm going to quadruple it, and then I'm going to tie a very small bow. Okay, so if you don't want to waste any baker's twine, you can tie this ahead of time and then just glue it on. But I want to make sure I have plenty and that I'm not struggling to tie it, so I have way more than I need, and I know that. But any that I cut off, I can save in my scrap pile and use for other things. So remember I told you we're going to cover this bail up? This is how we're doing it. We're tying this baker's twine on super tight. You can knot it if you want to, but I don't really think I have to. So there's that. And I want to make sure I get my bow laying so that it's in the right spot for my camera. So just play with it and lay it down and make sure everything matches. Now I'm just going to tie a bow here in the top. And this is why I cut myself way too much, so I wouldn't be struggling. I'm going to pull it snug, and then I'm going to work it down into the size I want it to be. And I want it to be smaller than this for sure. So I'm just going to bring that down, then bring this down, and then just pull it again. And I kind of like it about like that. So now I'm going to cut these pieces away. And I know this looks like a lot of waste. Let me show you. We have big pieces. Do you see what's left? These are plenty big enough for other projects. See that? So back to the scrap pile. But I didn't have to fight with it. So now I have this cute little camera and some baker's twine, and that bow might be too big. I could probably shrink it down some more. I might do that when we get done. The other thing I will do is make sure that I treat the edges of this baker's twine with either some fray check, which you can get like in the notion section of a crafting, of a sewing area, or you can use some glue that'll dry clear and just put it on the ends of these little pieces so that they'll stay in place. So that is pendant number one. Now you can zhuzh this up 1,000 new ways. You can add more charms down here like I did on the first one, but I think it looks super cute. So let's go to the next one. Now the next one is going to be very different. So here is my spool. And this one is going to use bronzes and copper. See this little cup? This is from Gary's store, and I think it is so cute. Notice that my camera changed colors because it's focusing on that, but that is the cutest little teacup. I think that'll be precious. If you have a coffee drinker or somebody that you need a present for, I'm also going to use, I think this will be cute. I'm going to use some olive colored ribbon, and I have this pretty little flower paper, and we've got brown buttons this time. Now this one, we're going to be using, like I said, this copper. And I do not have any copper. I only have the silver, or I have this I don't have any bronze, I have copper. So I'm going to mix these together and I'm not going to stress about it, okay? If you are not a person that can mix metals, then you just use whatever metals you like. But I'm going to use this. This will look better to me than the silver would. And so since the only two I have are these, that's what I'm going to use. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, okay? We're going to kind of find the center. And this one, 20 gauge, is much easier to bend. I'm going to take my little pliers down here to the bottom and just kind of grab a hold of it. And then kind of push to give myself a bend, and I'll show you that. See how we did that? And now I don't need these to cross over necessarily, so I'm just going to move them back out of the way for a second. And I'm going to put the teacup on to one of the arms. So now that will hang at the bottom of our spool. I think this may be my favorite when we get it done. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so now same thing with your buttons. I'm going to take the small one first. And of course you don't have to use buttons. You could get creative and use just about anything you have. I can see these being a gift for anybody. Like you could find a way to use this for just about anybody. So there is button number 1. Okay, and now I'm going to do the larger button. And I'm keeping this one in all the brown, copper, olive, orange kind of family. And again, mixing my metals just because I want to and because I need to. I don't have anything else. Alright, so we got our buttons in place and our charm is in place. And now I'm going to do a little twist, just a little bit to keep that still. It doesn't have to stay real still because the spool is going to keep it still. So now we're ready to put the spool on. Oh, I got to fix the spool first. Okay, so we're going to take this little piece of paper, which is another 6x6 pad paper. See how small the flowers are? I just think they work better. And then use the bone folder and really bend this guy up. That one really bends well. And now we will glue it down. If this is your first time at my channel and you're just now seeing the art glitter glue and you're seeing how amazing it is, don't worry, it's linked below so you can find where I purchase it from and how to get it and how to get the tip, because the tip is a separate purchase, but I get asked about this glue every time I do a video and I understand because it's amazing. Keep wrapping this around till it's nice and snug. I'm telling y'all, this is probably going to be my favorite. Glue this little end in place. And I like keeping the spools raw so you can kind of see what it is, but you could certainly ink this or paint it. That would be cute too. Alright, now we're ready to put the wire through the middle of our spool. Remember, both of them go up through, and this kind of nestles down onto our buttons. Isn't that cute already? I love it. Okay. Now we're going to button again. So we'll use the large one first. We just go opposite this time. The large one should always be touching the spool. So there's that one, and then this one. Okay. Got a little twist in it, so let me sit that down correctly. Oh, I put them through the same hole. That's funny. Let's try it again. Alright, one in each hole this time. And sit that down. Now, again, find where the front, where your cup should be hanging. And then you want to hold your wires up. Hold it in place like that so you can keep up with it too. Then take these pliers that have the little mandrel arms and sit it right in there. Holding that in place. And then bend it 90 degrees. Take those out. Sit it back into your curve. Okay. Bend that back over that top mandrel, just like so. Okay, pull that mandrel out. You're going to have something that looks like that. Stick it back inside, kind of up and out of your way, and then take these and wrap them. Now this wire is much easier to wrap. Like I said, this 20 gauge wraps really easy. Alright, so we're nice and wrapped, and I'm going to cut the excess away. I don't have my flush cut pliers. I wish I did. This would be so much easier, but the flush cut, I'm going to close my eyes so this don't fly off in my eyes, by the way, or wear safety glasses. But the flush cut it all the way straight down, and you don't have to kind of do this last little part with it, but I'm going to twist that into place real quick. Again, I'm covering that up anyway, so it's not going to matter. Now I want to make sure that my loop is in the right spot, and I need to twist it just a little bit. That's what I like about this 20 gauge wire. I can really manipulate it. Y'all, this one's a cute one. I'm telling y'all, this may end up being my favorite. So the little cup is there. And now I want to put it onto the chain. This chain is from Gary's store. I'll put a link to his store below. I don't think I've said that, but I will. So put that little copper chain through. And now on this end, what I'm doing, I'm making this just a pull over your head necklace because I don't really like to mess with clasp, and I like a longer necklace. So I've just put a jump ring on the end, and I'm just going to open this jump ring up. If you've never opened a jump ring before, you put your two pliers, your flat little pliers on either side of the split in the jump ring, and you don't pull them apart, you twist them. Okay, don't pull, twist. If you pull, you'll never get them back right. So you just twist them open, and then you just twist it closed. Just like that, so that they match back up. So now our chain is in place, and our necklace with our little teacup is in place. So cute. Now let's tie a little olive bow on top. I think the olive is a good choice for this one. Make sure you tie it on your bail, you know, where we kind of made a big mess with the wire. Make sure you get your bow in the front so that you'll be able to see it when your little teacup's hanging. And again, on this one, I cut more than I needed. So I'm going to pull this and make it the size bow I want it. And pull it nice and tight. Trim these bottoms off. Now, here's something I did just as an extra precaution. I took a little bit of my glue, and to the top of this bow, I just dotted some glue in there, and I'm just going to let it dry, and that way that bow won't come undone. It's clear. This glue will dry clear, so don't worry about that. Just kind of get it in there so that your bow will stay tied as you're wearing it, or as the person you give it to is wearing it. Also remember, do a little fray check or do something on the ends of your ribbon. Guys, this one I think is my favorite. I love it. Let me lay it here. I'm going to put some white paper behind it so you can see all of them. So there they are, guys. I think these are so cute. And this charm, if I didn't tell you, is from Gary's store also. Several of these things are. I'm going to link his store below. It's a Facebook store. So when you go to shop on his store, you look through his albums to find the items you want, and then just comment how many of them you want. I love these. I cannot wait to make more. I'm going to have to order more spools because I think I'm down to 2. Let me know what you guys think if you enjoyed these. And I have some more ideas to bring you for the fall, so you'll probably see these again. I hope you enjoyed this today, and I hope this is something you try. If you do give it a try, please head over to our Facebook group called Maymay Made It, and so did I, and share your projects with us so we can take a look at them. I will leave the link for that below, as well as all my other social medias. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.